my review of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable, Episode 8, Part 1 of Yukako Yamagishi Falls in Love. Ah, jeez, this bitch is crazy. But before we get to her, we gotta talk about the opening again. For some reason, the music was changed. Instead of the original version of the crazy, noisy, bizarre town by the DU song, we got the EDM remix version. I thought the original version of the song was more suited for the opening, but that doesn't mean that I hated the EDM version of the opening. I actually like it, but I can't help but think, why change the opening song? I mean, the original version wasn't bad, and the EDM version was alright too. So is this going to be a permanent thing from now on? Why the change? I honestly don't know. Anyway, let's get into the episode. So it starts off with Okuyasu and Josuke talking about Toshikazu, and we get a brief flashback of Josuke and Jotaro interrogating him on anything about the Red Hot Chili Pepper stand user. It turns out Toshikazu only talked to him on the phone, and it's been pretty vague on whether he was working for him or not, but I don't think he was, because I guess if he was, then the Red Hot Chili Pepper stand user would have killed him. But at least Toshikazu was able to give us this little tidbit of information, which is really important if you think about it. Stand users, for some reason, seem to be unknowingly drawn to one another. So it seems like stand users are meant to meet other stand users even if they don't realize it, like there's some sort of fake going on, you know? Anyway, Josuke and Okuyasu spot Koichi at a cafe, and he was meeting up with this high school girl that we saw in the previous episode briefly, and she was in the opening confirming that she is a stand user, and this is Yukako Yamagishi. Now, her stand's name wasn't revealed yet, but her stand is actually her hair. Think of it as Bruford's hair ability back in Part 1, Phantom Blood. Except her hair is a bit more luscious and a lot more prettier than Bruford's hair, but not as pretty as Car's hair back in Part 2, Battle Tendency. Think of it like that. And the reason why this meeting took place was so that Yukako would confess her love to Koichi. So when she was blushing in the previous episode, when she saw Josuke and Koichi, she was blushing at Koichi. And this love confession shocked the three. Then Yukako was asking Koichi these questions. Do you hate me? No? Oh, so do you love me? Oh, well, that means you hate me, right? And then she just gets angry and snaps at Koichi, yelling at him to make up his mind. And when she realized what she's done, she got all upset and apologized and walks away. That suddenly took a turn for the worse. Anyway, after she leaves, Koichi takes a sip of his drink, and he notices that all this hair was in his drink for some reason, which got Josuke suspicious that Yukako might be a stand user. We then cut to the next day when Koichi was cleaning up the chemistry room, and Yukako was there to apologize to him, which kind of started off awkward at first, but then when she asked him if he wants to be friends, he says yes. So you think, water under the bridge, they can start off anew as friends at first, and who knows, maybe their relationship will develop and grow into something more, and then maybe they will love each other. But then she then starts trying too hard, unfortunately, to the point where Koichi realizes that she is extremely strange. She knits him a sweater, which she knows his size, by the way, gives him a good luck charm, which we hope that it doesn't contain her pubic hair. Yeah, that's an anime reference, by the way. Guess what anime I'm referencing to? And she even made this really nice lunch. And if you actually look closely at the lunch, some of the pieces of the food had heart designs. So yeah, you can really tell that she's trying very hard to gain Koichi's affection. Their moment was interrupted by this high school girl who was the class rep telling Koichi to finish cleaning up the classroom by taking out the garbage, and this pisses off Yukako, and then she eventually confronts the class rep, warning her to stay away from Koichi and even threatening her. The class rep doesn't take this very well and even backtalks right behind Yukako's back, which honestly was a huge mistake because we learn later on that Yukako's stand has the ability to implant strands of her own hair into other people's scalp, allowing her to control her hair remotely. And I guess there's like a certain range for that ability to work or something, because she used her hair to open up the incinerator and leave a trail of strands of burnt hair caught on fire towards the class rep, burning her hair. Her scalp was caught on fire. But it gets worse. When she tries to get to water and when she tries to like yell for help, the hair wraps around her eyes and then wraps around her tongue so she wouldn't call for help and wouldn't get to the water. But luckily she was saved by Okuyasu, who used his hand to scrape away the hair and the fire. But despite saving her life, unfortunately she was left with a really big bald spot on the back of her head, and Crazy Diamond can't fix that for some reason, because I guess there wasn't any hair left on the bald spot for him to fix. I don't know. But yeah, this confirms Josuke's suspicions on Yukako being a stand user. Koichi had this idea where he should just straight up tell her, be honest, saying that he doesn't like her and he wants her to stay away from him. But Josuke says it's not a good idea because that'll just add fuel to her passion and would piss her off. Which, you know, he does have a point, but considering the alternative, I think they probably should have went with Koichi's original idea. So Josuke decides to come up with an idea to make Koichi seem like someone that Yukako would not like, is to make Koichi seem like a bad person, like he has no future. So in order to make Koichi the opposite of what Yukako likes about him, is to spread some rumors right behind her after school, saying things like he cheats on tests, steals girls' panties, shoplifts, doesn't keep promises, didn't give back Josuke's money. There was no reaction at first with Yukako, but you can tell that she was listening to Josuke and Okuyasu, and all that was left was for Koichi to actually act like the person that they're trying to make him become. The problem is their plan backfires because Yukako kidnaps Koichi from his room in the middle of the night. What the fuck? Yeah, she somehow knows where Koichi lives. She breaks into his room using her stand, grabs him, and kidnaps him, taking him to this remote location inside this villa owned by some person who's not going to show up until the summer. So Koichi is in this remote location inside this house alone with Yukako, and the wires from the phone were cut, so he has no way of calling for help. Great job, guys. You just made things worse. Poor Koichi, man. I mean, it was a good thing that he got his own stand because his character changed for the better, but all this bad stuff keeps happening to him, you know? I mean, he deserves better, and I really hope he gets himself out of this situation somehow. So the whole reason why Yukako kidnapped Koichi was so that she can discipline him and make him become a better person. One of her ways was to make him study while he was trying to eat breakfast, and she does this by giving him multiple choice questions and these 3 boxes with different answers. Koichi has to pick one of these boxes, and whatever is inside the box he has to eat for breakfast. So if he chose the right answer, he would get some decent food. If he chose wrong, he would eat some pretty bad stuff like an eraser and soap. Again, what the fuck, Yukako? What the hell? But, you know, now that I think about it, this kind of reminds me of one of those, like, Batsu games or penalty games that you usually see in some Japanese game shows. Anyway, Koichi was stumped with the first question, so he had to guess, and it was a lucky guess because inside were hard-boiled eggs. But when he got to the next question, he was stumped again, so he decided to pick the answer depending on Yukako's facial expression. He picked the right answer, which Yukako seemed to be happy, but she caught on with his plan, and she gets pissed off, knowing that Koichi really is a cheater, but he's not. He's just scared and he doesn't know the answer, so he just wanted to pick the right answer because he didn't want to eat what was inside the box that was wrong, you know? But of course, because of those stupid rumors, Yukako doesn't know this. So as punishment, she forces Koichi to eat asparagus wrapped in pages from an English dictionary and English vocabulary cornflakes, which is basically pieces of paper and milk. God damn it, this girl is fucking crazy. Anyway, this was where Koichi just, had enough, couldn't take it anymore, and decides to leave, even though Yukako was right in front of him. So that wasn't really a good idea considering that she is a stand user. Which, by the way, we actually learned how she got her stand, which turns out she's another victim to Keicho, another person who got hit by the bow and arrow in February. So yeah, thanks a lot, Keicho. But she wasn't aware that Koichi was a stand user, and she didn't know if there were others like her. But anyway, when Koichi tried to escape, his hair got pulled up towards the ceiling, preventing him from leaving. It turns out that she implanted some of her hair into his scalp so that she can remotely control her hair to prevent him from escaping. So yeah, that was episode 8, and overall this was actually a good episode, a really better one than last week's episode, but this was very creepy, courtesy of Yukako. The thing is with this character, you can tell that she falls under the yandere trope, and considering that Diamond is Unbreakable came out, I believe, in 1991, 1992, she might have been the very first yandere female character in anime and manga, I mean, she existed before characters like Yuno Gasai from Mirai Nikki. But in actuality, I did hear that Araki was really tired of all the constant moe characters, so he wanted to create an anti-moe character, which he did with Yukako. But honestly, she's more like a yandere, which, in case you guys don't know what a yandere is, it is a character stereotype where a character from an anime or manga would have this love interest and would be so obsessed that this character would do anything, even go as far as to hurting the love interest's closest friends, family, people who are just being nice to the love interest, or even the love interest. They would even go as far as to hurting the love interest. And unfortunately, when it comes to yanderes, they can be crazy. In this case with Yukako, because she does seem to be this really nice, sweet, kind of shy girl, but she can also be very angry, menacing, threatening, just like that. I get that she really does genuinely love Koichi, but there were times where her temper, her anger would interfere. I understand she has good intentions on helping with Koichi, but what she did was not right. I mean, what she did to Koichi and what she's trying to do to him isn't going to make him love her back. In fact, this is just going to make him even more scared of her and hate her even more. But she doesn't care about that as long as Koichi becomes a good person. But I will admit, her hair stand is actually pretty cool. It reminds me a bit of Bruford's ability, but there is more to it, which I did appreciate. And it is also cool that we're getting another female stand user, because it's been a while since we had female stand users, even female characters for that matter. But why it gotta be someone who's freaking crazy? I gotta be honest here. I'm not liking Yukako. I mean, I don't really hate her or anything. It's just, I just don't like how she's treating Koichi. I mean, she means well, but she can't honestly expect Koichi to fall in love with her all of a sudden. These things take time. And I thought that, their relationship was going to develop, starting off as friends during that chemistry lab scene, but she was really trying too hard to the point where it was really creeping Koichi out, Yeah, honestly, as much as I hate to say this, at the moment, I'm not liking Yukako, but I do like her stand. I get that there are some people in the Jojo fan base that like her, but right now I'm not getting it. I'm not seeing it at the moment. She just gives me the creeps, and I don't like how she treats Koichi. I know that Yukako is in the opening, so that would mean that she would become an ally later on, but if she does become an ally, she's got a hell of a lot to make up for what she did to Koichi, and what she's going to do to Koichi in the next episode, which I Really don't know what, but I hope Koichi really does get out of this situation. I know I said before that I don't like tsunderes, but at least there are some tsunderes in anime and manga that come off as likable and understandable. With yanderes, on the other hand, I don't get the appeal. Maybe because I'm a girl, but I don't get the appeal of a character who is so obsessed over their love interest that they're willing to do crazy, obsessive things. I don't get the appeal because that comes off as scary and crazy. And I feel like that this is the kind of character trope that you want to stay away from, but some people like that. But I hope I'm not the only one that feels this way towards Yukako and to yanderes in general. Now, back with Josuke and Okuyasu, despite their bad advice they gave to Koichi, I do like the friendship and dynamic between these three, especially with Josuke and Okuyasu. I mean, when they were spying on Koichi when he was with Yukako, I thought it was really funny, especially Okuyasu. This guy was hilarious in this episode because when he heard the love confession, he was so shocked. And then he got jealous over Koichi to the point where he was crying because no one has ever told him that he loved him. I mean, Okuyasu wanted a girlfriend too. If it makes you feel any better, Okuyasu, I love you. I know many fans love you. Poor guy. Yeah, there was some good comedy there, especially when Josuke and Okuyasu were coming up with suggestions on making Koichi disgusting, which I thought was really funny. But one part that really got me laughing hard was when they were spreading those rumors on Koichi. You can see Okuyasu's face and his eyes was slowly turning towards Yukako behind him, which I thought was really funny. And you know what? It was really cool seeing his stand in action again, the hand, which I honestly hope we'll get to see Okuyasu in action again, maybe get his own fight. Not sure when, but hopefully soon. Although, now that I think about it, this is the second episode that is focused more on Koichi. Well, third, I guess, if you count the previous episode with the surface stand, but Josuke was there too, and it was more of a teamwork focus between the two. But yeah, Koichi's been getting a lot of development lately, which I'm noticing, which is actually good because I like Koichi as a character. I'm just hoping that the other supporting cast will get their chance to shine, their moments soon, not just Josuke and Koichi, you know? Now, animation and artwork was actually really good. I think it looked much better than the previous episode, especially how Yukako was animated, which I honestly admit, she was animated very nicely. I actually thought that she looked kind of cute, really. And how they animated the creepy moments involving her was actually well done, I will admit. I mean, the scene where she was right up at Koichi's window and Koichi's scared face, that was freaking creepy, you know? And especially Koichi's dream sequence, I thought that was animated very nicely. Music and sound also was really good. I especially like this piece of music that was playing when Yukako was giving Koichi the pop quiz, which I thought would totally suit her character. I don't know if that is her new theme, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's just the theme used for questions or something, I don't know. And voice acting was also very well done. Now, they didn't get the original voice actor for her who played her in Eyes of Heaven, but they did get Mamiko Noto, who actually did a very good job voicing Yukako. She did a good job of voicing her as shy and sweet Yukako, and it was also very good at voicing angry, threatening, menacing Yukako. And Mamiko Noto voiced a lot of characters in anime. So she voiced Shio from Akame ga Kill, Black Goldsaw from Black Rock Shooter, Kotomi Ichinose from Clannad and Clannad After Story, Yuka from Elfen Lied, Satellizer from Freezing, Shinji Kazama from Full Metal Panic, Alex Benedetto from Gangsta, Yukinari Sasaki from Girls Bravo, Rin from Inuyasha, Sawako from Kimi no Todoroki, and Liebert, Johan's twin sister from Monster, Katsuya, the giant slug summoning from Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, Fuka Yamagishi from Persona 3, the movies, which, you know, ironically, this character and Yukako have the same last name. Coincidence, maybe? Who knows? Yakumo Tsukamoto from School Rumble, and Fuma's sister Kotori from the X anime and X OVA. Now, this episode contains some references For example, the first question that Yukako asked Koichi was actually a reference to Prince, which I actually thought was like a nice little tribute to him since, you know, he recently passed away, but I believe that was also in the manga as well. So, but there's what I don't understand. How is it that funky music from his lyric is translated to primitive music in Japanese? Because I wouldn't think funky would be primitive in Japanese, but okay, whatever. And this whole episode was actually a bit of a reference to Stephen King's Misery, or The Misery, something like that, which we all know that Araki does love to reference horror and thriller movies from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Honestly, overall, this was a very creepy episode, but I really did like it, much better than last week's episode. I'm honestly not feeling Yukako at the moment, but I do like her stand, but who knows, maybe I might like her later on. But considering what she's doing to Koichi, I don't think I will. And speaking of Koichi, I really hope that he'll escape somehow. But there is actually one thing I want to point out. Now, we're given the stand stat card, this time on Koichi's stand, which I can finally say Koichi's stand's name because it's on the stat card. The Crunchyroll subtitle for the Koichi stand name was Reverb, but in the Japanese writing, it's actually called Echoes. So Koichi stand is called Echoes. I can say the name, it's technically not a spoiler because it was on the stat card. But there is one thing I have to point out on the stat card. It said Echoes Act 1. Act 1. And we all know that Koichi got an incomplete stand when he got hit by the bow and arrow and was healed by Crazy Diamond. So that has got me thinking, considering that this stand that we saw, this current Echoes, is just Act 1, maybe there is an Act 2 Echoes. Maybe Koichi's stand will further evolve and develop to even more to its fullest potential. Maybe we'll get an Echoes Act 2, who knows when, but if that's true, then I'm really, really looking forward to it. So, tell me guys, what did you think of this week's episode of Diamond is Unbreakable? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What did you think of Yukako, and what did you think of her hair stand, which we don't really know its name yet? Also, any ideas as to how Koichi will escape or fight against Yukako? I don't know how his stand Echoes would fare off against her hair stand, but I really hope that Koichi will be okay at the end. I'm keeping my fingers crossed on that. So, tell me your thoughts on the episode in the comment section down below. Like the video if you like it, subscribe to more videos, and be sure to check out my Facebook fan page and Google+. So yeah, that is episode 8 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Diamond is Unbreakable. I'm Luis27, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.